And hello again, lovelies, and welcome back to Mama G Gear. We're going to do an unconventional tutorial. Yes, I'm not going to say what I call these. Those that watch the channel know. It might be picked up from YouTube, but this is basically a turtleneck. It's basically a Dickie, okay? And I'm loving this. This is what I'm gonna show you how I do today, okay? What's really cool with this and all my other tutorials, unconventional tutorials, are that you could do whatever you want with it, whatever yarn, whatever stitches. I just kind of show you how I work through it, and then you can tweak it to whatever you'd like. Anyway, these are really cool because you wear it as a Dickie, because it's opened in the back. So it goes on like a turtleneck, and then this goes in the front. So it really dresses up an outfit, or just keeps your chest warm, where your coat's not closed up on the top. So this particular one here, I don't have the ball band. They don't really show you the name of the colorways on them anyway. I don't think. I might be lying. Yeah, they're just a lot of numbers. This is the Rossetti Samba, and these are two other colorways that this company has. I apologize, they may be discontinued. This is the it's like a rope yarn, and super soft. Loved working with it for the softness. It's a little heavier weight, which is kind of nice as well. Only thing is that it is a little splitty, because these, I'm gonna try, hopefully you could see, it just opens up like a mesh. So for that, it's a little bit splitty, but it wasn't annoying enough that I'm going to make more with this yarn of this. I will still work with this yarn because it is so soft and so comfortable. Anyway, I'm going to show you a couple other ones. So if you wanted to fast forward to the part that's just showing you the tutorial, go ahead. This here is with the Mandela tweed stripe, which is my favorite yarn. Yes, it is discontinued, but I have a stash, and you're going to notice that the stitches are different, because they are. And there's no planned stitches. I just kind of do what I feel like doing, whatever row. This here is done with the Hirschner's Worsted 8 with, I don't remember, I apologize. It's got the glitter. It's one of the Halloween colorways, but this one's a little bit longer. And I did a little, loop-de-loop on the top there. And these next ones, this one I did super long. And when I get into explaining how I do this, when I show you, to get this really elongated look on where you're going to do your increase here, I was doing like treble stitches and doing like 3 treble stitches and then chain 2 and 3 treble stitches. So it gave me more fluffiness here, but also elongated it. So even if I was doing double crochets or half double crochets going down the sides, when it came down to where I connected, where I did the increase, I did like a treble, or I did a larger stitch. Okay, so that gave you more of an elongated look. But there's your collar. And all right, so just to give you an idea, I made this one, and there's the back, just so you get an idea of how the back looks. This one. Oh, I might be lying to you. These two I made with one. Okay, I made these two with what I had left over of one of the cakes. I almost told you a fib. And then I made this one with the Mandela, and this is the Pegasus. And I also am in the process of making another one with the Pegasus. I'll have plenty to do that. So I was able to do, I think you could do probably 2 or more, depending on what stitches you use, of these with like one of these cakes here. And I'm trying to think what here we got. This is 590 yards, because I'm feeling like I did more than just those two with it, but who knows. Okay, so let's get down to it. I'm going to click you off and come back and show you the supplies we're using for this. And I'm back. For the tutorial, I'm going to use my own hand-dyed yarn. For those of you who are unfamiliar with my channel, I also am an indie dyer. I dye yarn, and my daughter dyes cotton yarn. She does a fabulous job at it. But this is a couple hanks that I dyed, and I don't usually use my own yarn, but I thought for this I might because it's really super soft. It's 100% superwash merino, extra fine, DK. It's 200 meters or 218.7 yards, 100 gram per hank. So I did roll one up this morning at 4 a.m. because sitting on my bed with the hank around my knees and just did the roll like the good old days, okay? And then, of course, scissors, which I think these are hummingbird-looking scissors, not crane scissors, but if you want to call them crane scissors, that's fine. And then my little box with, you know, some markers, and I have a threader. I make those threaders as well, and a darning needle to tie the ends in. And my hook is an eye hook, or 5.5. It's a Furls. I don't know what line this one is, but I have a green one like this, same size, that I use both of those. That's probably my favorite. Okay, so let's push this aside and get down to it. I did not, oh, you know what? I'm going to put you on pause and get my yarn bowl because I forgot that. And I'd like to do a shout out. This is my yarn bowl. And this was made by Dawn Yarn Doll. I'm going to tag her below in this tutorial, unconventional tutorial. Her husband makes these. He also makes hook holders, everything, and they gifted this to me. And I can't thank them enough because this is amazing. And it's really lightweight too, which is great. Pretty sure he does it with one of those 3D machines. But yeah, we're putting it to use right here in real life. There we go. Just to keep it from rolling on the floor. So thanks again, Dawn and Jerry, for that bowl. That's tough to say. Okay, how we're gonna start. I'm doing this standing up, so I'm gonna pause you as we go because we're not gonna do the whole thing. Literally, I don't know if you could do a magic circle. I do what I call the pretzel. Go in. I know there's probably easier ways to do this. Oh, I screwed up. Pretzel. Sorry about that. Pretzel. And then grab it here. And then I'm going to do one. I never crocheted with this dyed yarns. This will be an interesting thing for me as well. So I'm going to start with the magic circle. If you want to do like the chain 5 and then make the circle that way, that works as well. I just prefer it this way because I like to tighten it up, and I can tighten it up, and I'll show you how I do that. But we want the neckline to have kind of a scoop so that it falls more nicely, use your adverbs when you can, around your neck and over your shoulders. So I'm going to start by chaining 2. That's going to be my first double crochet. And then we're going to, it's not easy to crochet standing up with the camera in front of me, so I'm a little slower than, I might try to sit down and do this. That's 3. I apologize for, I didn't plan this ahead. All right, so that's 4. And I'm going to try not to count out loud when I'm doing it because I know when I'm following other people and they're counting while they're doing it, it kind of throws me off. All right, so 6 double crochets. And then we're going to chain 2 and go right back into your circle, which I'm just going in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. That's a double crochet. I usually don't go into the stitches so much because I figure mine are more for people that know these things. And there's a lot of great channels that show you the stitches and how to make these. All right, and I've already lost count how many I'm doing here, but I think that's 6. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so now what I do is put my fingers here and pull, and it closes it up. But I also take the tail, put it back inside the hole, and then you could keep pulling at this point if you want. I'm going to pull it tight enough so I can get a hook in there when if you want to come back around and do the neck, you want to have a hole there. So I'm leaving a little bit of a space, and then I'm going to pull that tail back through this hole. As you see, it's going to create a knot. But I left a little bit of a hole here so that when I'm coming around to do the collar on the neck, I have an area I could throw 1 or 2 stitches in there. Actually, that's kind of bigger than I would have liked, so I'll probably do 2 stitches in that. And then this, as I go along, I will tie this in before I go much farther. All right, so that's the first one. And now I'm going to chain 2. That's my first double crochet. In the same space, I'm going to do 2 more. So we're going to do 3, basically 3, start with 3 double crochets. All right, so I usually start with 3 double crochets and end with 3 double crochets. And unless I want to make it curl more, then I'll do 4. Or if I'm doing treble crochets, I'll do the treble crochets in the beginning. Okay, but if I'm doing a half double, I'll still start with the double crochet. Okay, but I'm just going to go around and do double crochets till I get to the join or the increase. And again, I'm not going to bore you with me crocheting the whole darn thing. I'm just going to start it out this way, and then we'll work from there. So now I'm back to the center, or the increase, I should say. And so there's the 3, 1, 2, the one I started with the chain 2, 2, 3. That's in that first loop. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we did 6, chain 2, and 6. Now we're back to the chain 2. And here's where you can chain, I'm going to do still double crochet. You can chain 2, or you can chain 3 if you really want it to. I wouldn't do chain 3 at this point in here because we were already into a tight V because we did 6 on each side. But as we go along and as you go along, you can, if you want it to curl more, add another extra, do 3, chain 2 and 3 in that, okay? But we're going to do 2 for now. And that's why these are unconventional, because I'm not showing you how to do it. I'm guiding you along on how you could figure out how to do it for yourself and tweak it the way you want. And then we're going to go back up. So that's 1. Oh, I told you I wasn't going to count. This actually works up nice. It's a nice yarn. So all that bought this yarn, okay, it's nice. Now I get it. Okay. I did 5, and it kind of looks like, you could get confused here and say, oh, I'm at the end. But see how you got these 2 stitches? That is your last double crochet. So that is where you want to get in there. Grab those 2. I grabbed 3, so let's go back and try that again. Grab 2 of them. If you did 3, it doesn't make a difference because who's going to know? But I grabbed 2, and this is where I'm going to do 3 double crochets. And also when I'm at the edges here, I'm pulling it out a little bit, so I'm making these extended a little. They're not tight, you know what I'm saying? Got to be a little loosey-goosey with them, all right? So there we go. That's the beginning. At this point, sometimes I tie in this so that I don't have to do it at the end, but also it doesn't get, flapping around while I'm trying to crochet, which I think I'm going to do that. So you don't need me to show you how to, oh, I had this upside down. Look at me. I had it flipped the wrong way, but all right. So in case you do need to know this, all right. So you find the eye, you got your hook. I make these real easy. You could buy these metal things without the buttons, and I just hot glue buttons on either side, but I do leave it where you can use the tiny end in case you ever need it for a thinner yarn or a thread. Put that through. Take my hook out, and then literally kind of weave it through. I usually go through like 3 times, you know, back and forth. And I'm just kind of weaving it through the yarns. You don't want to pull it too tight. Just taut. And then I'm going to go back. And when you do your ends, if you don't know this, it's smart to try to go back through the stitch you just pulled through. That will keep it, that'll help it from undoing, like if you're washing your garments. So that's 2. Again, just a little tug. I don't want to be too tight. And then I'm going to go back through just one more time and kind of try to weave it through a little bit. Now I don't have to worry about this later on. Cut there, throw that out. Another thing too, the furls hooks or any other hooks that do this, that it's got more of a pointy end. It's not as round of an end. I prefer those because, especially like that other yarn that's splitty, this kind of a hook made it easier to crochet. I'm going to put you on pause and see if I could sit down and do this because standing is just not working for me. All right, let's give this a shot. All right. Newbie at the tutorials. They'll get better, hopefully, as we go. All right, so basically, we started recapping magic circle, 6 double crochets, chain 2, 6 double crochets, turn your work, chain 2, that being your first double crochet. If you wanted it to be really distinct, you could chain 3, then you wouldn't have to search for that last one. It's up to you. And then chaining 3 back into there, all the way down, 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets in your increased space. All right, that's what we started so far. All right, so I'm going to chain 2, and then that's my first double. So I'm going to do another one. That's 2, and then we're going to do 3. We'll start with 3 double crochets. Because see already how it's, by doing the 6, you already got like a V. So it's already snug around the neck. Now this is where the fun part starts. You do whatever stitch you want to do for every row that you want to do. Okay, that's what's so fun about this. There's no rhyme or reason. If you want to try new stitches, this is great to try new stitches. Because you know, if it's a difficult stitch, do it in the beginning. So you only have to do a few of them, but it still looks great. I'm going to show you just some of the stitches that I do on mine. The first one, I think I'm going to do, flip a coin here, and I think what I'll do is back and forth, front post, back post. I don't know a lot of the terms, but you do a double crochet. So here's our start. So chain over. I'm going to start. I'm assuming this is a front post. Don't yell at me about not knowing the names of the stitches. And then I'm going to go back to the next one through the back post. And I'm going to just alternate. Then I'll do a front post and then a back post. And you don't have to, you could do this wherever and whenever throughout the Dickie thing that I'm making. I still got to come up with a name. I think we were talking, because I usually put olicious on things, so we're maybe going to call it a bibolicious, which I think is kind of cool. We might call this a bibolicious, because the other Dickie olicious just doesn't sound right. Oh. All right, so now I'm back. Now the last one I did was a front post. So now we're back at the join or the increase. So I'm going to do 2 double crochets because I really don't want to add too much this close into the beginning. Pull out some yarn, chain 2. Go back and do 2 more. And excuse my hands because I was dyeing some black yarn, and it's very hard to get off my hands. Believe me, I tried. So now when you're at this increase, wherever, if you're doing something like what I'm doing, you want to make sure you have complete symmetry on the other side. So we ended, before we came into this corner, the increase, we did a front post. So we're going to start this one with the front post. This way they match. And also it helps you to know if you're off your count, which doesn't really make a difference if you're off a couple stitches here and there. But if I don't end in the same way I started, then I'm like, oh, I'm off on my count. I don't like to count stitches, and this is one way to check your stitches. And again, just the front, and then the back. Whoop. Yarn over and go through the back. And then we're at this point here, which is 2 more, so yarn over in the front. And to be honest with you, I think we started with the front, though this is going to end me with the back, so I think I've already screwed it up. I may have already messed up. All right, so let's figure this out. So now, technically, because that's that last stitch, this would be where I would put in. So, hey, let's figure this out. What did I do wrong? So here's, I'm counting the front posts. So I got my 3 that I started with. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before I'm coming to my chain, 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets. So there's 5 there. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So technically, I can go into this one, and that gives me the last stitch. All right. All right. So that's why this is good, because I don't have to really count. I did count, but that's why I throw these in every once in a while I'm doing something, just so I can check myself. All right. Because I would have thought I had to go into the other stitch, but apparently not. All right. So that's that row. Now you could go back, which I might pause you and do it myself without you boring you. But you can go back now, and I'm gonna start it, and then I'll pause you. So I'm chaining 2, turning my work, doing 2 more in here. So that's starting my 3 doubles. And I'm gonna show you this, and then I think you got the other part of it pretty down pat. So now this is front and back. Oh, I see what I did. There's my goof right here. All right, perfect. So what I did here while I was chatting was did 2 front posts in a row. That's why it got messed up. All right, frog, 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 ribbit, rip it, rip it, rip it. We don't edit here, folks, because we all make mistakes. So that's what I did. I did 2 front posts. That's why it wasn't working. So there's that back post. And the front. Now it's going to work out right. Oh, good. I'm glad I caught that before I got the whole thing done and then ripped it all out. Done that before. Sure, we all have. And then we do end with the front post. There's the symmetry. All righty. Yeah. Yep. And then just get through 2, and then we're going to do our 3 double crochets here at the end. And now we got it right. Okay. I know, it's because the math wasn't working in my head, and I'm saying something's wrong here, but then I'm chatting, so I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. All right, so now we're back to where we are. So we've got our front post, back post. All right, so here's the chain 3 that we started with, and we're going to go opposite of what we had the last row. So here, this one's front. So this is going to be a back one. So this next one coming up is going to be a front one. This next one's going to be a back one. This one here is going to be a front one. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So now when I do this front, there might be an easier way to figure that out. If you know it, go ahead and do it. But this is how I figure it out. I don't follow patterns and all that, so I have to figure it out on my own. So see, now I'm coming into, that was the chain, the 3. So now here's our front post, but we're going to do a back post with that one. So we're alternating. This row is going to alternate. All right. And the same thing, you go all the way down and you go all the way back up the other side. And I'm going to do that without boring you with it. Now that we figured out that mistake, the kerfuffle, and I'll be right back with you when we get back up to the next row. All right, what I want to show just to make sure. Sorry, you're bouncing. So I'm coming up to the chain 2, the 2 double crochets, chain 2. So here's the last back post, which we're going to alternate to a front post. And now with these are just from the last round, but since that's front, this one's going to be back post, then a front post. So remembering we're ending with the front post, then we're going to do 2 double crochets in the increase, chain and 2 more chains in the increase. Sorry if I'm going off camera. I'm so sorry. So I'm sitting down. I usually stand up when I do this. And since we ended with the front post, we're going to start with the front post. That's what I wanted to show you. And then I'll see you back at the top. And we're ending with the front post. That's how we started the other side. Then coming on in and doing 3 doubles to finish that row. I should change the name from unconventional to unprofessional tutorials. Sorry, I just had to. So this is pretty much first 3 rows? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. But see how that looks? It looks pretty when you alternate. And you can keep just doing that if that's all you want to do, and just keep. I've made hats like that. They really come out really cool. Other stitches. I'm just going to show here. Other stitches you could do. Just grabbing one of them. This is back posts. Then you could do trebles and back posts. Maybe we'll do a treble next. Let's try that. Trebles used to give me trouble. Now I finally got them figured out. So treble, I'm going to do chain 3. Let me pull this way. Maybe it's a little better. I don't know. And then you're going to wrap twice. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. That's a treble. I think it's also called a triple, which would make sense. But I'm going to do 3 of those in the first, and then I'm going to do 1 for each of the chains until I get to the increase. And at the increase, I'm going to do 2 trebles, chain 2, 2 trebles, and work my way back up to the end and do 3 more. So I'll do a couple more, and then I'm going to put you on pause. So you wrap it twice, go to the next stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2. All right, that's a treble. The yarn smells good too. I when I dye the yarn, I use talking and crocheting. When I wash it with soap, I also put a little fabric softener in there, and because the darker dyes sometimes makes the yarn a little rougher, but it still has that nice smell to it. So these are trebles. Don't let the trebles make trouble, because they used to give me a day. I'll tell you, I couldn't figure out how to do this. So don't give up. If you're having trouble with the treble, don't give up, because I really struggled with this stitch for quite a while, and now I feel very comfortable doing it. I'm going to get us to the corner, and then I'll put you on pause up. I got the last stitch before we come to the increase. Now we're in the increase, so I'm going to do 2. There again, if you feel like you want to make this, well, let's look. Nah, I'm feeling like I don't need to increase here much. But, let's just do it. For just to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to do 3 trebles in here now. Chain 2. and then 3 trebles going up. Now we're down one side, we're going up the other side. 1, sorry, I don't mean to count while you're up. Screwing things up here. All right, so 3. Oh my gosh. Did I split that? Nope. All right, so now I did 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles. And that's going to, I don't know, you could even see it already. It's giving it more of a, it's farther, it's thicker on this side. I'm losing my words. That will make this top part curl in more, but it also, if you're making an item that you want to be ruffly, that'll also give it more of a ruffle, just so you know that. All right, I'm going to go up this row and do 3 trebles at the end, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I'm at the end, and here's where we started with 3 double crochets, and I've already put 1 treble in the first double crochet. I'm going to do another treble in the second. This is how you know if you got the right amount of stitches. And then here's the last one, because see how there's a 3 in that one? So now I know that this is my last stitch. And in this one, I'm going to do 2 more. So that'll be 3. Does that work out right? Did I do the math right on that one? Sometimes I get so confused. And I know I confuse the heck out of you guys too. All right. I feel like that's right. And if it's off by 1 stitch, you're really not going to notice. The only thing is if you're doing certain stitches that you need a certain count, then you're going to have to count your rows. I try to avoid that. And if it's something where I have to skip every other row, I got a 50-50 chance of it being right, to odd or even. And if it's off, I could just fudge it on either end. So that's how I play. But anyway, so there's that. So basically, whatever stitches you want to use, you just keep doing this until you want to get, well, you know what? Because I'm not going to show you all the stitches. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. All right, so now here's the one I was working on. This is with the mandala. And I will say that I didn't curve the top of this one as much because I think I'm going to make this one into a little shawlette that you wear like in the front. So I'm going to use up the yarn. But for now, as you move forward here until I get to my point where I can show you how to attach it, you want this section where if you attach the 2 ends and fold it in half to the point, that this is going to fit over your head comfortably. Okay, because then when we get to it, we're going to go around this perimeter in a circular motion and then pull it in a little bit and then come up for the neckline. All right, I hope that makes sense. So basically what you do from here is other stitches. Let's see, you could do, like here's I did some mesh stitches on this one, and actually I'm showing you the wrong side. Yeah, I'm showing you the wrong, no, I'm not, no. Oh yeah, I am, hold on. Yeah, you could turn it inside out. I had that inside out. All right, so it's prettier on this side because I did some back loop onlys. Bod did that with hers. That's like this, and that's what inspired this, to be honest with you. Credit where credit's due. Is Bod was doing a little shawl, and she was, I think it's called the Lightning Strikes Twice. And I liked that, and I sort of followed her tutorial. But she did the 2 rows where you just do back loop only. And then I did some bobbles here, some mesh, I don't know, chain, mesh stitches, I guess you call that. And this is just to show you. This way I can go in the other room and crochet where I normally crochet. Let me back you up a little bit. Sorry about that. This one here, there's some of the back loops and back loops. I did like a double with a back loop, and then I did a half double with a back loop. you know, get creative. This is the one that I made long and more fluffy and foofy, so I did more trebles in that line there. Let's throw these aside, see what we got next here, just to give you some ideas. And this one here, again, some back loops, some chains, some granny type things, doubles, halves, trebles, and then I just ended with the half. And then on the top, I'll show you that top part later when we get to that point. And this one here is, this one's a little smaller of one. I really should have you higher than where you're at to be showing you these. This one's a little smaller, just in case somebody wants something not so big. Like this would be more, I don't know. I don't want to genderize anybody, but you know, if you just want a smaller one around your neck, less long. And then again, this beautiful yarn. I really do love this yarn. It's just the feel of it is just so incredible. But there again, there's those stitches. All right, so this gives you an idea. So if you want to practice with some stitches, like this is all treble, and then back, front, back loop, front loop, alternated here. This is, I think, double. I did the mesh stitch, and then stitch 2 in between in the squares, in the spots. I can maybe show you that as I'm going along if you want to see that one. And yeah, so let me finish up what I'm doing, put you on hold, because this is going to be one long butt video. And I'm back, and I apologize for being so off camera, and up to this point, I will do my best to try to stay in camera. What I did is we did the treble, then I did a double, and then I did, and the next double I added 4 because it's not scooping as much as I would like it to. So I added 4 on after we did the treble, I did 4 to start with and end with on the double crochet. And then I just did 3 double crochets and half double all the way around. So it's not really super fancy, but I'm just trying to expedite. So being that it's not scooping as much on this next round, doing the 2, and now I've got to try to be in camera, I've got to have the camera more in my face, so this is going to be a little bit tougher because I'm crocheting farther away from myself. Now what I'd like to do, I did 3, I'm going to do 4, that's what I was saying, I'm going to do another 4, so I did 4, and then I did 3, and then I'm doing 4 again, just to kind of give, yeah, this is not going to work either, huh? Yeah, right? Well, this is not happening. All right. I might have to just talk you through it and not show you what I'm doing. Okay, what I want to do here, I'd like to do a row of back posts or front post only. So this is going to end up, by doing the stitch I'm going to do, this is going to end up being the back part of the outfit, because you're going to want the ridge to be in the front. So we have our first hole, and loop over, yarn over, go through the first one, and we're just going to keep going all the way down with double crochet. I'm doing double crochet with this. You could do a treble or whatever you want, but I'm going to do the whole thing back post only. Yeah, bear with me, folks. I kudos to all those that do these tutorials with ease, man. It is not easy. But as I do them, I'll figure out what's not working, and then I'll fix that so that it will be working. All right, so I'm going to not bore you with going down this whole row with this, but I'm literally just going in that back loop. So I'll pause you, go down to the end. When I get to the increase, I'm going to just do 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets, because I did start with 4. And that's one thing I want to point out, is if I start with 4, I do 2 in the increase. If I start with 3, then I might do 3 in the increase. And that kind of also balances it out, but also makes it curve. Oh, and I'm talking and did a regular crochet, I think. All right, so I'm going to just keep doing this and meet you at the other end and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I finished to the end. As I said, I did 4 double crochets on the beginning and the end. This now became the back side of this Bibblicious. Now if I turn it over, you'll see the ridge on that. Isn't that nice? And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue on with different stitches, because this is getting pretty long as far as the video. I'm going to continue on with just odd stitches here and there. But what I'm going to do also, because I want this to be a little longer here, is when I come to the increase, I'm going to start throwing some treble crochets in there, so it makes it more pointy. And then if you want it to be longer but shorter on the sides, do your like half double crochets and then do treble crochets or double crochets in that joint, in the increase. And that'll give you the longer one like I showed you in the yellow one. But I'm going to just keep working around until I get this area. What I didn't bring was measuring tape. But whatever circumference you want it to be able to fit comfortably over your head, because when we do the neckline, we're going to pull it in and then pull it up like I had said earlier. So I'm going to go around and work on this for a little bit. You work on yours, and I'll see you in a little bit. All right, we're learning as we go. I kind of moved the table camera angle a little bit so I could rest my arm. What I've done this row is I think it's called the mesh stitch, where you do a double, chain 1, skip 1, double, chain 1, skip 1, all the way down. I'm at the increase, and if you see here, I'm at the point where I'm going in there. There's not a skip 1 here, but I got tight. So then I'm gonna chain the 1, and then I'm gonna go into a treble and then do another treble. So this is going to give me a little bit of length. Then chain the 2, treble, treble, and then I'm going to chain the 1, and I'm not skipping 1. I'm going to do a double right into that first stitch. That's also going to give it, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Hold on. Try that again. And then chain 1. Now I'm going to skip 1, go into the next. This is a really quick stitch too. It's fast. You can, well, if you can crochet, just very uncomfortable. I'm gonna have to practice crocheting away from myself, because this is just very uncomfortable. But I usually don't make this many mistakes, really. Allegedly. So we're skipping 1, double, chain, skip, double, chain, skip. And that's, I think, the mesh stitch. All right, because what I wanted to show you, what I did on one of the other ones, I thought it's kind of cool looking. And I don't know, I'm assuming it is a stitch. I don't know if there are any stitches that aren't. Boy, my hand is big when I'm doing it this way. So what a horrible tutorial. All right. Let's see, I screwed that up. I'm snagging that now. Hold on. If that happens to you, if you're crocheting and you kind of screw up, split the yarn, just take it and give it a little pull, and sometimes you could reconfigure the yarn together. So there's a skip, there's the double, chain, skip, double, chain, skip, double. Now I'm coming into the 3 that we started with. Skipping it, Now, when in doubt, and I'm chaining the one, so when in doubt, and I do this a lot, is I'm not always remembering if I skipped one in the beginning or went right into the next stitch like I did in that corner, but I could see here on here that I did skip one. So now I know to go right into, so I'm skipping that one, I'm going right into that end one where we're doing 3. All right, and then ending off with 3 doubles in there. Okay, so now this is what I wanted to, the stitch going back. So now we're going to turn our work. Start with 3 or 4, whatever you want to do. Yeah, I'm going to do 4. Okay. All right, so now we've got the 3 that we started with, and we've got the chain 1. So I'm going to go right into, I'm going to go into this one here, the very first one. So I chained, we did 4, you could do 3. I'm going to go right in, front looping, and then this next stitch, I'm going to go into that stitch, and then I'm going to go into the space of the first chain 1 of the mesh. Okay, and then I'm going to go around, front posting that, and then going into the chain space. Hope this makes sense. I'll do it again. So I'm into the chain space. Now this one I'm going to go front posting into that double from the mesh, and then I'm going to go into the chain space, and then I'm going to front post into the mesh, into the chain space. I hope that makes sense. This is going to give me the same amount of stitches that are in the mesh. Yep. I'm going to turn this around to show you. So see how that looks? That's kind of pretty, right? And I did it where it's, this part is going to be the front. So we have the ridge here from the back post, but it was technically the front post. And that's what that looks like. I thought that's pretty cool. So I wanted to show you that, and I'm going to put you back on pause. Alrighty, I'm back. And I did a bunch of rows. As you can see, I did the back row, the back loop only for this row, and mesh stitch, just random stitches. I think I ended on a double crochet, and the only thing I did different, which is what a lot of people do, and Bod showed on hers, is when you're doing the end, the last row, instead of chaining 2, add an extra stitch there, so you have 5 in there instead of 4 and chaining 2. Sometimes, I didn't do it here, but sometimes I will extend that out to treble crochets, so it makes it more of a point. On some of the ones I showed you, it had that point. But anyway, this is where we are at this point, and I got kind of the curve that I was looking for. It's definitely bigger than what I want for the neck, because I'm going to crochet this into a circle and then decrease a little bit to a point where it'll stretch enough to go over a person's head, but then be, comfortable enough around their neck and not a cowl neck, not a loose neck. So really, at this point, piece of cake. This is the right side of the item, the project. So I don't think there was anything else. I had a lot of things going on between before and now, but there wasn't a lot. I wasn't a lot that I think I wanted to show you. It's really a matter of just whatever stitches you want to play with. So I'm just gonna. I chained 1, and I figured out that I could actually zoom on here. Look at that. Now I see how you guys do it. All you tutorial people. I'm learning, man. I'm learning. Every day learn something new. And then just kind of going into that top stitch and pull that through. I'm going to slip stitch that, give it a stitch, and kind of make that tight because this is where we're going to join it together. And now it's just a matter, truly, of I'm going to half stitch because I want it also to be loose enough so I'm not doing a single crochet. And this part here, you just kind of, depending on what kind of stitches you did, you got to kind of judge on your own where you want to put your stitches. And again, I'm just doing a double crochet, and I'm also doing it kind of loose because this part's going to go on the top of your shoulder. And if they're not even on both sides, don't beat yourself up. It's not going to be noticeable. It's amazing how much you could fudge that people don't even, no one's going to be counting your stitches while it's around your neck. Hopefully, anyway. Because we got random stitches going up here, so. But this is basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all the way around. And I'm not going to bore you with me doing that. And then when I get back to this point, I will tighten this up with the slip stitch when I come into this part, do another chain. But I'm going to put you on pause, go around, and I'll show you that point, and then we're almost done. Okay, so we're back. I went all the way around, and I did it kind of loose because we could always take in. And I'm on this last one, and I'm up to that point. So what I'm going to do is go hop over and join it about here, and then I'm going to pull that through. So I'm giving this more closeness here, okay? And then I think I'm going to do the whole neckline with half double crochets because it has a little bit of give, but not too much, so that it's still going to have warmth. So I'm just going to keep going with rows with the half double. As I go, I will do a few rows, like maybe 3 rows, just like this, because I just pulled it in by pulling this stitch around. And I'll do like maybe 2-3 rows like this. Then I will decrease at the back and at the front, and then do the next row around, decrease on one side and the other side, split it so it's not decreasing in the same spot when you're going around, because it'll look kind of crunchy there and bunchy. And I'll decrease it to the point where it's going to be perfect to go over the head, like I said, where it's not too tight going over your head, but tight enough around your neck to serve as a turtleneck. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's really a matter of whatever circumference you're looking for, however big your stitches became. So it's going to change depending on each one you do. And I did want to say that, those of you that know about my yarn, the name of my yarn is Hectic Hanks. This is why it's called Hectic Hanks, because this is what it looks like in its hank form, and this is what it looks like worked up. So yeah, most of the yarn that I dye is a bit on the busy side and often very bright, but that's because I'm busy, dizzy, and bright. So I'm going to continue that, and then really that's it. To whatever height you want it to be, you can go up higher and even expand out so that it curls out on the outside of your neck. And at the last row, what I did was, in between each of the double crochets, I chained 2, came back through and did like little tiny picots. And that's what, I put them already away. I'm sorry, I'm OCD. I already put them away, but it just was a half double, chain 2, came back, went through that bottom, the first stitch, and slip stitched it and then went into the next chain, the next half double, and it gave a little picot on top, so that kind of went around the perimeter of the neckline. You could do whatever stitch you want. That's what I did on not all of them, but some of them. But that's pretty much it. It's really nice. I think we are going to call them a Bibblicious Dickie. Maybe that's it. That's the name. It's a Bibblicious Dickie. I think we did score, slay, we did it. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget your thumbs. If you're still here, please leave a comment in there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section, or you can always contact me at mamaggear@yahoo.com. And or text me if you have my phone number. So yeah, I'm always available to ask, answer any questions if you have them. Well, I might not know the answer, but I'll try. Anyway, yeah. So that's our, what do we say? Bibblicious Dickie. All right. And yeah, look at the difference in the yarns. I'm going to back it up. Oh, no, I did the wrong way. Hold on. Yeah. First day on my new shoes. No, I went too far. There we go. But look at that. Pretty cool, eh? Thanks a lot, guys. Love you. See you next time. Bye-bye for now.